Good evening, everyone. How are you today? Our lesson today about nets. After we've done our lessons about polygons and classifying polygons and the symmetry, line of symmetry, we need to talk today about nets. Before we start talking about nets, we need to make a quick revision for the 3D shapes. So we already talked about 2D shapes and we do some classification for the polygon, and we know what's the meaning of polygon and when can we call the 2D shape a polygon or we can't according to some specification. It should be like flat, it should be not crossing the sides, and it should be closed, so many and straight lines, so many classification or many properties. And now we wanted to just make a quick revision for 3D shapes before we start our lesson about nets, so we can understand what's the meaning of nets and why they are important and why we are talking about it. First, when we learn about 3D shapes in second grade, we talk about two kind of 3D shapes, the prisms and the pyramids, right? So the first group is a prisms, and we talk about these: triangular prism, square prism, rectangular prism, pentagonal prism, hexagonal prism, octagonal prism. And we said that it's like a boxed, closed box. And all these, we can call it a triangular prism according to the face of the base. So the base face here, it's a triangle. That's why we call this shape a triangular prism. Okay, so this is a square shape, so we call it square prism. Rectangular prism, so the face is rectangle. Here, pentagonal, so that's pentagonal prism, and so on, hexagonal or octagonal according to the face of the base. So you count the edges, you count how many edge or you side, or how many vertices, and according to the number of the vertices, the corners, the edges, you can call this shape, and you can call it triangle, square, rectangle, and so on. Then the other part, which is the pyramids, and it's look like pyramids, but the name is different according to the face space again. So here you can talk a triangular pyramid because the face space here, as you see here, it's a triangle. See, this face is triangle, and make sure take a good look at it because we will talk about nets. It's connected with our lesson today. So you look at the base here. The base has four sides, so we call it square. The base has four sides, but it's not equal in edges length, so we call it rectangular. Here we have five sides, so we call it pentagonal. Six sides we call it hexagonal, and eight sides we call it octagonal pyramid. So all these shapes, we classify them according to how they look. How do they look? The first group is like boxes, the second one is like pyramids. So the first group we call it prisms, and the second one we call it pyramids. And remember, we call the 3D shape according to the face of the base. You count how many edges, how many corners, and then you can call this shape. Now take a look at your book, textbook page number 69. Here they want you to take a look at these shapes. These are 3D shapes, as you know. Can you identify the faces of these solids? So they use the word solid, and make sure that you understand the word solid. We will replace it with another word. Okay, so we will replace it with a word 3D shape. So you can use 3D shape word, or you can use the word solids. Okay, can you identify the face of these solids? Why do we need to identify the faces? Because if we identify the face name, we can know what is the name of the shape. Okay, look carefully here. I have here, this is the cube, and here I have six. It's a square face, right? It has a square face, many square faces. And here I have a base. Here I have 1 2 3 4 5 6. It's six. It's hexagon face. It's hexagon face. Here I have pentagon face, and here I have rectangular face. Okay, rectangular face. Okay, look at these cuboids. Look at this cuboid. They show you this cuboid. This is a 3D shape too. They call it solid. Okay, so solid, they will call it solid as the word 3D shapes. They use both or the same. Okay, we can open it up along its edge. So they try to cut this cuboid. Oh, that's weird. So look at this cuboid. They try to cut it and lay it flat on a table as shown below. As you know that we call the 3D shape, it's really different from the 2D shape because we say that 2D is a flat shape and the 3D shape is a not flat, we can touch it. Okay, so it's made out of nets. Okay, we can open it, and when we can open it, we can make it flat on the table. So it's made out of many faces, as you see here. The figure on the right, it's called the net of the cuboid. So they try to cut it and make it flat on the table. Then it will shown as a net. So a net, a figure which can be folded to form a solid, is called the net of the solid. So if you can fold this shape, here you have a new shape here, but they cut it or they fold it and bend it into a 3D shape. So they call this part, they call it the net, because they can fold this shape or these shapes, these 2D shapes, they fold it together so they can make the 3D shape. They will call it the net. So this is the basic, which is the net, the way we can fold this paper with, as you see here, you can see many faces. I have this one, it's rectangle, this is a rectangle, so too many rectangles face. Okay, so these all together, if you fold it together as you see here, it will make the 3D shape. Okay, the 3D shape. If this one is able to, if you fold it together, that will make this shape, or it will make a 3D shape, you can call it net. Otherwise it's not a net. Okay, so if you need to call it a net, you should be you should be able to fold it to form a solid. So if it's okay to form a solid with it, so you can call it a net. Now let's again talk what is a net of solids. We want to replace the word since now on a solid with 3D shape. So once I said solid, you have to understand that I'm talking about 3D shape, or 3D shape means solid. So both work, it's the same. Okay, now what is the 2D shape that can be folded or pinned to make 3D shapes? So if you want to know what the net means, you have to ask yourself, what is the 2D shape that can be folded or bent to make 3D shapes? As you remember in the previous slide, we said that these all shapes, these flat shapes, we can bend it together so we can form a solid, right? Or we can form a 3D shapes. And if we can form a 3D shape, that means this is a net. Okay, so all the 3D shapes have in common that they are made of 2D shapes being folded or bent. Okay, so, and if that's really happened, so the nets are these shapes. So all the flat shapes connected together, 2D shapes connected together in a way that we can fold and make a 3D shape, that what we call it the nets. Now look at these nets. Okay, look at these nets. I have in page 69, which is our lesson today, I have this net. I can make the cube out of this net. So if I fold or bend all these faces together, all these 2D shapes together, connected to each other, if you fold it, you can make the cube. All these again face. Now before I go to the next shape, look at this shape. What are these faces? This 3D shape makes out or made out of many squares shapes. So the base or the face of this shape, 3D shape, is a square. So I will ask you next time. Now look at the cuboid. What is the face shape? What is the face shape? Is it triangle? Is it rectangle? Is it square? Is it pentagon? What is it? Look at it here, or you can look at the net. It's made out of many rectangles, so you have to put many rectangles together so you can get the cuboid. Look at the next one, which is the cone. I have here the base face is circle, and then you have one curved side which is bended together to make this coin. Now look at the square based pyramid. Okay, square based pyramid. Now look at this pyramid. I have square based, and I have 4 triangles here, 4 triangles and square based pyramid. Look at this net. It's made out of 4 square faces. Look at them. 4 square, no, sorry, not square. They are rectangle. 3 rectangle faces. 3 rectangle faces. And I have 2 triangles. 2 triangles. How about the cylinder? Cylinder, it's made out of 2 circular faces. 2 circular faces. And I have one rectangle bended or folded or curved to make the curved side of the cylinder. Now I want you to look at your textbook, page number 70. Again, a solid can have more than one net. Here is another net of the same cuboid. So there is many ways to form these shapes together. You can arrange these 2D shapes together many way, not only one way. So you can have more than one net to make the same shape or the same 3D shape. So many views for the nets, many arranging in many times or many ways. The same, you have many nets for the same shape. So try to trace both the nets of the cuboid into a piece of paper and fold it each one up to form the cuboid. So they want to tell you that they can fold it in different way to have the same 3D shape. Okay, perfect. Now here again they want you to take a look at the faces of each 3D shape. Or how can we form this 3D shape? Which 2D shapes we connected together so we can get this 3D shape? Study the different parts of the nets below carefully. Compare them with the faces of the cuboid. What do you notice? Okay, here part of the net of the cuboid and faces of the cuboid, they are the same. So the faces are the same. So if you want to make a net, you have to use the faces of the shape of the solid, of the 3D shape. And the number of parts in the net is the same as the number of faces on the cuboid. Okay, it should be. It's not option. Okay, they should be the same, because if they are not the same, it will be missing. So if you have here like 3, as we mentioned in the previous slide, we have like 2 triangles and the 3 rectangles. So you should have in the net, on the net you should have the same number of faces and the exactly face. Like if you have 2 triangles, you should have 2 triangles in the net. Okay, here the face of the cuboid, the faces of the cuboid, the shape of the parts in the net are the same as the shape of the faces on the cuboid. So all the shapes should be exactly the same. Otherwise you will not have the same net or the same shape. You will have a different shape. Okay, so you want to make sure that the net has the same as number as the faces and as the same as the shape of the faces. So make sure that the net has the same number and the same shapes in the original 3D shape. Okay, make sure that they will have the same number of the faces and the same shape of the faces. These very important 2 things. If you have exactly the same, you can form it in different way, more than one net. Okay, but you should have the same number of faces and the same shape of the faces. So this is in your textbook, page number 70. Now I want to do some exercises on the nets on worksheet number 3, page 43. You have here to match each solid to its description. So they are like reading the description for each shape. The first one, it's a cuboid. Okay, I want to know which description match. I have 6 rectangular faces. So it has 6 rectangular faces. As you see here, the face of this 3D shape, the faces are rectangle, so they are all rectangle, and they are 6. Okay, number 2, I have 5 faces, so in total 5 faces, but 3 are rectangles, and 2 are triangles, which is B. Okay, so 2 rectangle, 3 rectangle, this is one in the top, back and down, and I have 2 triangle, one here and one here. Okay, next I have 7 faces, 2 pentagonal, which are here. I have this one here pentagon and here pentagon, and I have around like about 5 rectangular faces. 5 rectangular faces. Now next, B or D, sorry, I have 5 faces, so in total 5 faces, but one of them is square, which is the base here. It's 1 square and 4 triangle, 4 triangle. Here I have 6 square faces. It's just like exactly the same as a cuboid, but this 6 square faces and here 6 rectangular faces. Okay, and I said that the net should have the same shape and the same number of faces. And the last one, before I match it, it has I have all my faces are triangles, so all of them are triangle, which is a triangular prism. Okay, I want to fill with you this table. It's very important in your workbook, and please, on your student book, sorry, there's a mistake here. So it's student book, page 44. Please make sure to fill it on your student book or textbook. Okay, I will do the first one. The solid, it's the name is a cuboid, so it's cuboid. It has 6 faces, it has 12 edges and 8 vertices. The second one it's a hexagonal prism. It has 8 faces, it has 18 edges and 12 vertices. This one is sphere, and it has 1 curved face, okay, 0 edges and 0 vertices. The cone, it has number of faces is 2, and I have 1 edge, it's curved edge again, and I have 1 vertices, which is the one in the top. And this one is a cylinder. It has 3 faces and it has 2 edges and it has 0 vertices, no vertices for the cylinder. The last one is a triangular prism. It has 5 faces and it has 9 edges, and the last one is 6 vertices for the triangular prism. Thank you so much. This way we're done with our lesson for today. Good luck.